All right, so at the dean's meeting, she went over a few things. All right, no shows. Remember that they all should be done by now. If you're having to do any adding or subtracting from your roll, it's going to have to be done on a roll correction, and hopefully we're past that. Sign-offs are next. You know that when we get to the time for audit, that sign-off date will come up. Make sure that we kind of remind each other when those sign-off dates are. Okay. Budgeting. Cam, Dr. Graham back there, and everybody has been tasked with budgeting this year. Budgeting is probably going to be a nightmare because enrollment is so low. And so the message that we received and the message that is going around is to budget stingily. All right. So if you need something, then we will try to get it. But I would not bank on having a whole lot of travel money. I would not bank on having a whole lot of device money or any of that other stuff. So just be aware of that. I will probably ask Cam and Shonda and Shannon to all get together one day, and we'll have our little budget powwow. So if there's anything you want or anything that you need, then we probably need to know that in the next couple of days. Okay, so just kind of be aware of that. All right. IT and inventory is asked that if you have any devices, old devices that are still tied to you, we need to make sure that we get those back so you can turn those in. If you still have any devices that you're not using, we probably need to either get them recycled to where we can give them to other faculty members or use them if one of the laptops goes down or whatever, or we need to recycle it and salvage it because we need to get it off inventory. So one of us, give it to one of us, and so that we can make a decision about whether or not it needs to be salvaged or whether or not it needs to be blanked and put into backup just in case somebody's laptop goes haywire. Okay, inventory is a big thing. Our inventory is huge. It's really never been cleaned up since COVID, and so poor Janice has been to the ends of the earth trying to find stuff that probably should never have been on our inventory in the first place, but is. And so it's an ongoing process. So if you have something out there that we can get cleaned off of inventory and get rid of or salvaged or whatever. Okay. Some important dates that I kind of culled together. One is Preview Day. Preview Day is coming up quickly. February 2nd from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's a Friday, okay? So they're doing Preview Day on a Friday from 8 a.m. until 12 p.m. We will set up on Thursday from 2 to 4. We'll have a booth like we normally have. We will probably have a tablecloth, and some access to electricity. So in the past, what we've done is we've carried a computer down there and shown our PowerPoint, and then had people down there to man the booth for a few minutes. And so if it's on a Friday, we all should be able to kind of go down there and spend a few minutes down there, all right, circulating, talking to students, recruiting, all that other stuff. The biggest problem for us is that Norton is coming that day for the history department to present the new World Civ book. And so there'll be, when do they come, Cam? 10, I think. Yeah. So from 10 on, really, most of us will probably be in and out talking to Norton. So me, anybody that's teaching World, us right here will be kind of trying to go and see what the new textbook is going to look like. And so we may have to ask, Shannon and LaShonda and your group maybe to kind of take a little bit of some of the later times so that we can see what Norton has to say. But we've worked through it in the past, and we'll work through it again because you guys know how Preview Day is. It's chaotic anyway. So we'll just go and do our normal stuff. Okay. Cam sent out an email about student awards for the history faculty. You probably got one about student awards for the behavioral sciences. So if you have students that you're thinking about or deserving of a particular award, now's the time to start thinking about how we're going to nominate them. So, Cam, what's our area, for example? We have geography, history, humanities, philosophy, and political science, right? But we only do one, right? So out of all 5 of those areas, we only do one.
And that's each campus submits one.
Right.
And then somehow we got to figure out a way to fairly decide
who wins.
There is no procedure.
Right.
established.
So it is early, and so it's always kind of difficult to decide in February whether or not you've got a student that's worthy. So especially
Yeah, it could be a last minute.
that's right. So I was going to say, especially for somebody like Dr. Skinner, who's only had a few weeks here. But if you've got somebody from the past that maybe's taken you for a course or 2, now might be the time to try to nominate them. Okay, and we'll need the name, ID number, and then we'll need some student information. But if you can get one of us their name and their ID number, we can probably fish out the rest. Okay. So let's see. We have to submit by February 5th, right? Tuesday, February 5th, I think.
Or Monday.
Yeah.
I have to submit it too.
You have to submit it Tuesday, so we'll need those names by Monday the 4th, which is like day after tomorrow. All right, so we don't have a whole lot of time. But if you've got somebody in mind, now would be the time to dig them out. Okay. All right. Shannon, did you get a thing separate about budget and about student awards? Did they send you, or did they put you in with her, with yeah.
I think it was me and Cam on there.
Okay, all right. We'll figure it.
I didn't receive a budget. No, I should see. We just got. Okay. They was a student award. Oh, no, I didn't receive anything.
Yeah, see, that's kind of, because that's now a separate area. I think maybe you talk to Dr. Ratliff about maybe adding one for you.
Yeah.
They only sent me something about the budget.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, so this next stuff came really right from the dean stuff, all right, and so she was pretty insistent about a lot of this stuff, so I'm just going to kind of go through it, all right, and one of it is about your work schedule. Make sure that your work schedule is accurate and post it on your door. You need to have your class times, your classes that you're teaching, the rooms that you're teaching in, all right, and then your student hours. Most of us have a template. I sent you one. Okay, and so if you're not in class, all right, you need to kind of be clear about whether you're at lunch or whether those are student hours. Okay, so student hours, you should, if you have time set aside for student hours, and you have time labeled on that schedule for student hours, then she wants to make sure that your office door is open, that your light is on, that we are a welcoming faculty, and that you are available for those students. So that schedule should also reflect that 35-hour workload. Okay, so it should say, you arrive at 7:30 or 7 o'clock or whatever, and it should be kind of reflecting of that 35 hours. Okay, so she was pretty tough on us because there are some people that seem to be abusing the 35 hours, all right? And we always talk about how we don't like to be carpet bombed, and I am not carpet bombing you, okay? But there are some people that are abusing it, and we know that it gets done, all right? I know it gets done on other campuses, and I know that other people are, you go try to find somebody and they're never here, okay? So we don't want to be like that. We don't want to get that label. you're asking me to sign off when you send that thing in that you've worked 35 hours. And if you're doing that, I don't have any kind of problems, all right? If you need to take leave, though, make sure that you take your leave. If you can take it, if you're going to be out and you know you're going to be out, remember we talked about making sure to either try to get your courses covered, either way, you know, whether you have the writing center or the don't cancel class or whatever, all right, that you can use that. But we all know that you get sick, all right, we all know that that happens. And if you can, you know, take leave early and cover those classes, we would love for you to do that. If you can't, you guys know that we try to cover that, okay? And don't worry about, you know, if you get sick, we all deal with that. Try to make sure that if you do get sick, that you text 2 or 3 people or you call 2 or 3 people just so that everybody kind of knows. There are some days, remember, that I am at the prison on Tuesday and Thursday mornings. If I ever get to go out there and teach, then so I'm not here those Tuesday and Thursday mornings. And so if you just call me or you email me, which is even worse, and I'm in the prison, I don't have my phone. Okay, so there's about a 2-hour period there that I don't have any touch with anybody. So if you've emailed me and I'm already in the prison, nobody knows, okay? So text a couple of people to make sure that you get a response and that, you know, that somebody covers that stuff. And because we just don't want to have, you know, students running around going, "Ooh, where's my teacher?" You know, all right, but if you do that, I try to text, you know, a couple people. I usually text Stephen and Brandy and Cam and heck, you know, because I know they're down on my end, and so they know kind of where I teach. But, you know, if you're on kind of that end of the hall, you know, you might want to teach or text LaShonda or Shannon or somebody, and just make sure that everybody knows that if you're going to be out, okay? COVID, we all know that COVID's been in and out, all right? There's no guarantee about working from home if you did go down with COVID, and I think they're pretty reticent to even do that. But there is a process to do that if you go down, all right, with COVID and you're going to be out for a while, that maybe they would let you telework or whatever. So there's a create request in Navigator to work from home. So talk to me first. If something happens and you get ill and you know you're going to be out for a while, so that I can go to the dean and we can talk about whether or not we can send that into HR. Okay. For students, from now on, basically the dean, if a student calls into the dean of students' office and says, "I have COVID," they're going to say, "You got to talk to your teacher." Okay. So they're going to come to you and say, "I have COVID." What we talked about is that I would make sure that before I kind of dealt with how I'm going to either Zoom that student in or if I'm going to record the lecture or whatever and then send that to the student or whatever, that you got some kind of proof that they actually do have COVID. All right, I don't know that, you know, that's too hard to ask for. So I would just make sure if you have a student that says they've gone down and you're going to make accommodations for them, you're going to put up stuff or you're going to put up assignments for them so that they don't have to miss those classes. All right, that's fine. That's great. We're working with those students. That's fantastic. All right, just don't get snowed by it. Make sure that you feel like that they actually are sick. Okay. I hate to even read this one. If a faculty member is not planning to return for the fall 2024, we need to inform me and the dean as soon as possible, all right, for hiring purposes. All right, I don't even want to put that out in the atmosphere, but, you know, if something happens and you're going to retire, please let us know as soon as you can, okay? All right, PDI. PDI has been extended because they are changing the PDI calendar. They sent out a Heinz Insider about this on January 18th. All right, it took Sarah and I a few minutes to find it, but it's there. And basically what it says is, in an effort to align the PDI calendar with the college calendar, The deadline for 2023 PDI hours has been extended to June 30th, 2024. Employees who missed the December deadline can now enter hours until June 30th, 2024. The 2024-2025 PDI year will begin on July 1st and end on June 30th, 2025. So essentially, PDI is moving from calendar year to academic year. I'm almost 99.9% positive that everybody, I hope, everybody in here did their PDI hours. Okay? I haven't gotten any kind of hate mail that says you haven't done it. So I'm going to assume that everything is pretty good. The only person that hasn't really done any PDI hours yet is Dr. Skinner, who's new. So that's a different thing. But what Sarah and I sort of kind of believe about this is you ain't got to do any for a while, okay?
They don't count towards
They don't count towards anything. Oh, yeah. Or they're not going to keep up with them or whatever. So if you saw the Heinz little magazine thing that's up there, we are going to have a virtual convocation. It's going to come up, I think, towards the end of the month. They don't have a date on it. But when you do that, you're going to be able to turn that in for 2 PDI hours. So I would assume that we will turn that in and some other stuff in. We'll turn in our department meetings and stuff like that. But I don't, as far as required PDI, the only thing I would assume that you have to do between now and June is anything you might have missed. Okay? You have to go into Navigator and you have to put it in Navigator. No. Okay. In addition, this is kind of one of those things too, so just kind of bear with me here. Training duration should now be entered as numbers only. So if you attend a 2-hour session, you put in 2, not 2 hours. Okay? So just put in the number, all right? If you enter in if you do a 1.5 hour session, you should do it 1.5, okay? With no hours. So just the number, okay? All right. Notice I'm asking for patience. The dean's office is overrun with problems. You guys know that because we generate about 75% of them, it seems, okay? From not being able to enter in no-shows, which we suddenly find out, the day that no-shows are supposed to be entered, to all the other, crazy Navigator things that we find, okay? So try not to fire off emails or questions to the dean without trying to come to me first, okay? Then if I can't figure it out, I'm going to send you, my last resort is to try to send you over there, okay? Because they need a little bit of break, yes. And so we are going to try to exhaust all other avenues before we do that, okay? So just be patient, and we all know that there are glitches out there, and so just try to work with me, and let's try to take some of the pressure off of them, okay? Canvas, all right, one of the things that we talk about every year is that, one, your Canvas shell should have those basic things, the syllabus, grading, module content, assignments, announcements, calendar, so forth and so on. But you also need to make sure that you don't have any old dates that are populated out there, okay? Sometimes you guys know that when you roll a course over, that somehow or another, sometimes a date gets missed and you have an old date sitting out there, okay? What that does is it messes up the Student Success Center and it kind of messes up Dropout Detective, okay? So if you have any old dates, just go and look in your assignments real quick. All right, go look in your that little thing that populates under your syllabus. Okay, that list of assignments that populates under your syllabus. And just make sure that you don't have any rogue dates out there because that helps them out a lot. Dropout detective, anybody started using it yet? Okay. So make sure that if you're having some issues, I've got to go in. That's one of my projects today. I've got a couple people that are really not doing any of their homework, so I'm going to go and drop out detective them. Okay, so make sure that you are using that. It's one of the tools they want us to use. So if you haven't been using it, it's probably time now to start getting Student Success Center involved in some of them. Because you probably by now know that if you haven't cut them out as a no-show, and they already have a couple of absences, and that they're not doing really well in your class, that could be a negative trend that you probably need to deal with, okay? So if you've got people like that, go ahead and start flagging them and drop out detective and let the Student Success Center start dealing with them, okay? Keep up with your attendance. We all know that, okay? She suggested also that you go into your Canvas settings and look at what you have out there for students to see, that you might not want them to have access to your files that you might have in Canvas, that you might not want them to have access to your pages or stuff like that. So just sort of go out there, and if there's something that you're concerned about, maybe the students having access to, you can turn some of that stuff off in Canvas. So just kind of, you don't want to turn off too much, but then again, you don't want students to have access to some of your own personal files or anything that you may have in Canvas. All right, so just sort of be that way. All right. I told you about Dean House. We already kind of dealt with that. Dr. Ware has asked at every meeting that we remind you all of our 6 Caring Campus commitments, right? Get to know students on the first day of class. Well, I'm on week 3, and I'm still trying to get to know my students because I missed a whole week, all right? So learn and regularly use students' preferred names. Communicate the most important aspects of the course, moments that matter. Assess early and often. I'm now to that point to where I'm beginning to assess. We talked about that. We're about to assess our face-to-face classes here, and we haven't met one day our prison class. So, boy, you want to talk about behind. And demonstrate discretional fairness, all right? Flexibility, make up assignments as needed on a student-by-student basis, okay? Now, anything that you got any concerns, anything that's hit you sideways that you might need to discuss? Everybody kind of rolling along? Everybody kind of feels like we've kind of settled in. There are 2 little things I want to kind of remind you of. Janice is trying to get an order together for supplies, and so if there's anything out there that you think you might need to get that to her.
And I am going to get those orders.
About as, yeah. Our budget did get cut, but not as bad, I think, as some other places did, but yeah, it is. It's district-wide. And so we don't have as much money as when we sort of started this semester, but I think we still have some out there, and that we need to get our supplies in and just, get that taken care of. Anything else? Anybody else?
Can I have something?
Yeah.
Does anybody, and this is real low on y'all's totem pole, but do any of y'all use those mailboxes that are in the supply room? Because otherwise, I'm sorry? Well, you get mail, but what mail you get you don't want, but nevertheless, it's those books and the things from the testing center. And I usually, when I do get them, I try to bring them to y'all or put them under your door. So can I either get rid of them or recycle? What do y'all want me to do with them? Because I did get him to take all those things. I got my work study student to take all of those to English, but we have people to use those things, and Virginia said it was fine. I got Eunice to take those over the other day. I didn't need to tell you that. And then we're gonna, try to reorganize the paper. And then I was looking; those mailboxes are real outdated because we got people that aren't And, see what
I
else?
don't have any problem with it.
Yeah. The post office is open now till 4 again because Tasha's back. Whatever that's worth, she's back from her surgery. What else I was gonna ask, but that was the main thing I noticed.
I forgot one last thing. Please hold the groans until later. It's time to sign up for Heinz Cares Day.
Yeah.
Grumble, 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 grumble. All right, so if you would like to volunteer for Cares Day is March 1st. The volunteer form is available. They sent out a Heinz Insider about it. The deadline to submit volunteer forms is February 9th, okay? And so that is out there, and if you wish to volunteer for Cares Day, you can, okay? You can also choose not to. So
You know, it seems like a good deal.
you would think so, but
Oh, yeah,
probably.
you have a lot.
I can see that in the future being required.
Yeah, not after. Yeah, not after the way
You care if you get.
they treated some of our volunteers in the past. If you cannot participate on March 1st, you can donate to the College Foundation, and that's that. Okay. I have nothing else. Okay. So if you, yes.
I do have a question for criminal justice. We need to sign. We need some type of visual something because I went to the bathroom. You talked about the what's your name? When high school.
Oh, preview day. Preview day.
So we talking about like what we have.
We're talking about one like what we have.
Or the,
I don't think it's on the wrong thing.
Oh, it's not?
That Michelle Raymond and I have. Is it on here?
I think so.
But I would like to have something that says criminal justice on here.
Yeah, we'll pull them out here in a minute and take a look at them. Okay. Look. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Will we have anything? I know I talked to you about this before. Will we have anything to give students? No.
swag.
We can't. Janice and I cannot find
I used to be able to get all
any
kinds,
way to get
From
stuff.
the
Yeah.
but these days it's very difficult. I used to be able to get all kinds from like the bookstore back in the day, and from Gay Saxon when she was over in Eagle Ridge, and I can't get it anymore. And if you try to order it from somewhere like Amazon and stuff, it's too expensive. So
we've had a really
I just don't know
difficult
how to
time.
get it anymore without. I mean, I could get a few pencils,
Oh yeah.
which we probably still have from here and there, but yeah.
I was just wondering because I know.
But back in the day, I could get a whole lot of stuff, but I can't, because I don't ever mind asking, but you can't, if you can't get it, you can't get it. I know where you're at.
Well,
That's a going thing.
think some people have connections with
That I don't have, but
the athletic department and other places that they can get stuff, but we'll work on it. We won't have time to get it
Right.
because we have tried.
but there was a time. Now VIPs over there.
Yeah, we'll see what we. Yeah. All right. Anything else? I appreciate it. Okay. Make sure that your doors and all that stuff are correct. Yeah.